I'd like to call to order the 13 February 2023 Jackson County Commission meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. We do have some guests. Thanks for being here. And we have a couple of speakers tonight. And thanks for being here to speak to the commission. We do have a long agenda tonight. We have a number of important issues that we need to discuss and vote on, and also discuss in our work session. And we will go into an executive session at the end of our work session, and that executive session will be to discuss good name and character of an individual, as well as matters of purchase or sale, really lease of property that we need to discuss. So with that, I would like to ask Ms. Johnson, our Assistant County Administrator, please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Okay. District 1, Commissioner Gully.
Present.
District 2, Commissioner Finnemer.
Present.
District 3, Commissioner Buckner.
Present.
And Commissioner 4, Commissioner McBride.
Present. We do have a quorum. Thank you very much. This time I'd like to ask everyone to please stand, and I'd like to ask Mr. Ford, our County Attorney, to please offer our invocation, and Commissioner Kinnemer to please lead our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow together. Lord God, our Father in heaven, you are the creator of all things, the maker of heaven and earth, and we're so thankful to be your citizens on this earth. God, we are so thankful for this county, the beauty that we see each and every day. Sometimes we take it for granted, the beauty that surrounds us that you've made. We pray that we'll never take it for granted. We also pray that we'll never take for granted the liberties that we have, that we're granted by our Constitution and are upheld by our public officials. God, we just pray for them, pray for the families as they make decisions that affect our families and our lives. God, we pray you'll watch over us and guide us every day. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the packet, we do have the agenda for tonight's meeting. We do have two items for adjustment of the meeting. First, we will need to add a motion to approve a hiring committee's recommendation for vacant Paint Rock Senior Center Manager position for the Council of Agents. And also in the work session, item A1, we will remove that from the agenda. There is some discussion still going on with Tarkov regarding that, and we will hold that until a later meeting. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the 13 February 2023 agenda with the addition to the new business item M, motion to approve hiring committee's recommendation for vacant Paint Rock Senior Center Manager position for Council of Aging, and to remove work session item A1, disposal of bus.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Do we have any awards or presentations for tonight? If not, I do think we have a couple of public comments. If I can get the list, please. We have two speakers tonight. First, we'd like to invite Ms. Patricia Gilliam to please come forward. And we have a microphone here that you are certainly welcome to use. Ms. Gilliam, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. It's only so we have it for the record. We'd like to ask you to state your name, please.
My name is Patricia Gillum.
And are you representing yourself, or are you representing an organization or a group?
Not so much an organization, but residents of Chrome Mountain.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, I'd like to offer you 5 minutes and to speak, please, ma'am.
This has been a problem on our mountain for several years. We have 18-wheelers that are climbing up the Highway 33, which is a lot of twists and turns to it, a lot of curves that are switchback curves. And there's clearly marked on the highway well before the mountain itself to turn around. That 18-wheeler shouldn't be up on this road, but they still continue to go. And as far as I know, in January, there was 2 that I know of that were stuck. And they had to call wreckers and had to be pulled out. I was stuck behind one for over an hour. So it's clearly an issue. It is breaking down the road, even more so. The road is not meant for 18-wheelers, the weight limit alone, as well as the width of the road. There's some places that it won't even carry two vehicles, much less an 18-wheeler. So we would like for something to be done. When I spoke to the trucker that I was stuck behind, he said he had to wait for the police to come out there and give him a ticket, and then the wrecker could come and pull him out. And it was over, I know it was over 3 hours. Like I said, I was stuck there. I couldn't back up my trailer. I had a Viking on the back of my trailer, and I was trying to get home. I was up that close to being home, but there was multiple people that I had to go turn around and go back. Then the fire department, one of the firemen were there, and he went back home, and he got the fire trucks to stop them from coming down. But you stop to think about emergency vehicles can't get through, and we would just like to know what can be done. Can you possibly put radar detectors on it to see how many have gone up the road? Because I feel like there's some that are successful. And and then what is the sheriff, are they getting a fine, or are they getting a ticket? Is it possible for us to put like a sign with lights around the sign that's already up, to further warn them, hey, this is not, the trucker said that it was a GPS told him to go that way, which doesn't make any sense.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Are these log trucks, rock trucks?
18-wheelers is the one that I was stuck behind, a
Yes, ma'am.
regular
Did you
panel
notice?
truck.
Oh, it had a bed?
It was a regular panel truck all the way down, just like hauling that you see on the highways
Gotcha.
here. There have been log trucks as well. And then, I'm not talking about garbage trucks or
Sure.
little trucks. I'm talking about the real 18-wheelers. So, and I remember it was about a year ago that one was coming down the mountain on the last curve, and he said, just hold it a minute, hold it, and he was trying to figure out his angles. He was already went all the way down. And he finally got it to where he could finally figure out how to go down. So I'm sure that there's others that are going down. But you're tearing up this road, and the road is not in good shape to begin with.
At all.
So if I could ask, where are they getting, where you get into the switchback areas, is that where they're getting stuck, or just so I'm getting an appreciation
Yes.
for where that is
That's where
happening?
they're getting stuck.
Okay,
And if you look at those areas, the dirt part of the switchback areas, you see their tracks right through. And it's busting the road up. It's
okay.
terrible. There's one place, about the first really good switchback coming down, the road is only maybe 6 foot wide right there, from the center line over. Because they broke it up, you can't. So it's a mess.
I
So
would think
I'd
all
like
of
to know
us
what
are-
can we do about it? And is there anything
Okay.
else that we can?
Okay. Let me ask, any other questions or comments?
No, I just want to, I oddly had a situation where I was traveling to Nashville, and GPS sent me through 33, and I thought, well, maybe I've lived here all my life and missed out, and got halfway up through that, and I thought, man, I don't know why in the world GPS would send you this way. And so, Jonathan, is there anything that could be done from a reporting that this is not a passable route, or, I mean, I know that's not in our domain, but And just, because that's why they're going that way, I would guess.
Well, we've had similar inquiries about County Road 75 and Commissioner Gully's district about an 18-wheeler underpass, the
Right.
women's hot. And we have made inquiries, but to our knowledge, it's, like you said, it routes how it routes some way beyond our means and understanding.
I just wish there was a way that we could rate our roads and say, no, don't travel this way, or.
Well, let me offer, I think we need to look at this a little more in detail to see what we can do, see if there are any options that we can have. And I know signage is there at the beginnings, I believe, as you look, but I'm not sure the truckers are seeing it, plus if they have GPS, it's directing them that way. So let us take a look at that, and we'll try to get back with you and
Thank you
see.
so much.
Is that fair?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing it. to
And let
attention.
me ask, how many visitors from County Road 33? All right, so we have a lot that are interested in what we can do there. So thanks very much for all of you being here tonight. We really do appreciate that and bringing it to our attention. I think all of us used 33 at some point if we're headed in those directions, so thanks. I think also next we have Mr. Eric Jeff Coates. Sir, give you the opportunity with the microphone.
I've been known to be loud, but I'll try to keep it down. I shouldn't need the microphone. Thank you, though.
Mr. Jeff Coates, I'm going to ask you the same questions. If you would please state your name.
Name's Eric Jeff Coates. I live at 30995 Alabama Highway 79, which is in High Top, Alabama.
And are you speaking for yourself or?
Myself. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Before I get started, I've got some literature I'd like to pass out, if that's okay?
Sure.
Basically what we're fixing on.
Discuss.
Basically, you can just read along with it because that's what's written here. On the second page, you'll see a map of what we're pertaining to. But basically, in 2007, I made High Top, Alabama my choice of residence. I chose this rural location because I enjoy my privacy and the outdoors. After learning of the purchase of by Jackson County of the 50 acres and the plan for a future RV park / campground surrounding my residence, I find myself trying to figure out where I go from here. I have a proposal for the Board of Commissioners that will alleviate some of my concerns. Proposal number 1, I would like to propose that Jackson County offer to sell me what I like to call a buffer around the perimeter of my property in order to retain a level of privacy at my residence to the south of my home. It is merely 12 steps from my house to the property line. If I could acquire 100 feet or more around the perimeter of my residence, I feel like I would still have a level of privacy that would be suitable to continue living at the said residence. It's my understanding that the acreage was purchased for the sum of $6,000 per acre, and I am willing to purchase the said acreage at the same amount. My figures, and if you look at this second page, of course I've got, if you'll hold it to where the Doppler is at the top, what's most important to me, and I've got it drawn out with arrows, is the west and the south. If I could acquire a buffer across those two areas. More towards the Doppler, I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know. I know the federal government owns that section, and I don't know I don't know how far from their fence line to my property is theirs, or what part of that Jackson County bought. But anyway, in my closing statement, all that I ask is for you to consider these proposals as if you lived at 30995 Alabama Highway 79 in High Top. Thank you for the time granted to express my concerns, and I hope we can agree on a resolution that will leave both parties satisfied. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
Okay, well, let me open up for any questions, comments. Okay. I will tell you, Mr. Jeff Coates, we're in the process right now of trying to look at options of what we do with the property. I think you're aware of that, is we're trying to consider how we would utilize it in terms of different activities there. But we've got a long way to go. I will say that's not going to be quick before we get there. We're still in the option development phase. But let us take this under advisement. I understand your concern there, so we'll look at that, and we'll look at this and see what we can do, if that's fair with you.
One more thing, and I think I went to mapping. There's already a discrepancy with the property line itself. If you go into mapping, I'm in the process of, I think I'm going to have a survey, another survey performed, because the survey that I saw in mapping cuts off about 15 feet where the fence row is. So I've been maintaining that area since 2007. But according to the property line, there is a actual horse barn that's in the back. And according to the property line that shows there, it cuts it off. So I'm not, like I said, there's something needs to be fixed there already, so.
May I ask you to show on the map here, if you would, please?
Let's see.
I see your barn. So is it on the west side that is cutting it off?
Yes, it's on the west side.
Okay.
So the property line, if you could come across, it actually includes, I only have about 2 foot of that horse barn according to mapping. So, like I said, and the fence, I didn't build that fence. That fence was there when I bought the property.
Okay.
So, but anyway, thank you for your time.
All right, sir. Well, thanks for being here also, and thanks for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Okay. Okay, with that, we will now move into the new business portion of our meeting. We do have a number of items to cover tonight. First, the minutes from the January 23rd, 2023 meeting is in the packet. So at this time, can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from the January 23, 2023 meeting and the work session?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Thank you very much. City of Scottsboro is going to have the 2023 special municipal election, and they have requested some use and assistance from the Jackson County Commission. There are 2 memorandums in your packet related to new business items B and C. First is a memorandum of agreement between Jackson County and the City of Scottsboro for the county to supply 2 qualified electronic poll book custodians and the use of 10 electronic poll books to support their 2023 special municipal election. Jackson County will be compensated by the City of Scottsboro in the sum of $1,000 for this use. Do I have a motion to approve and sign memorandum of agreement with the City of Scottsboro for 2 qualified electronic poll book custodians and the use of 10 electronic poll books for the 2023 special municipal election? We have a motion, have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Also in the packet, in support of the municipal special election, is an agreement between the county and the city to supply to the city a qualified election machine manager and the use of 5 voting machines for the 2023 special municipal election. The compensation to the county will be a sum of $250 per machine for $1,250 total. Do I have a motion to approve and sign memorandum of agreement with the city of Scottsboro for a qualified election machine manager and the use of 5 voting machines for the 2023 special municipal election?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, to have a second?
I second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. In your packet are 2 motions regarding setting aside portions of salaries for 2 of our commissioners. And the motion is to amend the budget of the Jackson County Commission to set aside a portion of salary in a separate fund account to be dispersed from time to time as approved by a majority vote of the Jackson County Commission after considering the recommendation of the commissioner. We have one for Commissioner McBride and one for Commissioner Kinnemer. Item D, do I have a motion to approve and sign a resolution to set aside a portion of Commissioner Kevin McBride's salary?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. And next, do I have a motion to approve and sign resolution to set aside a portion of Commissioner Kinnemer's salary?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, thank you very much. At this time, we have a number of recommendations to hire. Excuse me, we have an item F, we have one more. In our last commission meeting, we approved the start of increasing the rates of solid waste for $1.25 per month, and with that to start June the 1st, 2023. At the recommendation of the Director of Solid Waste, given that the quarter starts 1 July 2023, they would like for us to amend that and move the start of rates, new rates to 1 July 2023. So do I have a motion to amend the start date from June the 1st, 2023 to July the 1st, 2023, the beginning of the quarter, for increase of rates for solid waste garbage collection as approved on January the 23rd, 2023.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. With that, I will move to hiring committee recommendations. In your packet, you have a number of recommendations from hiring committees. The first is a recommendation from the Director of Solid Waste, Mr. Randy Grider, to fill a vacant driver collector position at the Solid Waste Department as recommended by the hiring committee. The grade will be grade 5 and the step will be step 1. So do I have a motion to approve the hiring committee's recommendation for vacant driver collector for Solid Waste Department?
I'll make that motion.
A motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next in the packet is a recommendation from Jackson County Probate Judge, Judge Victor Manning, based on interviews conducted on the 8th of February. The hiring committee recommends that the position be filled in probate, the probate, election administrator, and accounting clerk. Do I have a motion to approve hiring committee's recommendation for elections administrator and accounting clerk in probate office?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Next hiring recommendation is recommended from our county engineer, Mr. Jonathan Campbell, is to fill the position of maintenance supervisor. It is recommended that this position be filled at Public Works Department and set at grade 10, step 1. Do I have a motion to approve hiring committee's recommendation for the vacant maintenance supervisor at Public Works Department? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we have a recommendation from Commissioner Jeff Arnold, Commissioner of our Revenue Commission, requesting that the Jackson County Commission approve the hiring to fill a vacant real property appraiser position in the Mapping and Appraisal Office. The position will be set at a grade 6, step 1. Do I have a motion to approve hiring committee's recommendation for vacant real property appraiser position in the Mapping and Appraisal Office?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We have two agreements that we execute every year. One is with the Association of County Commissioners of Alabama regarding liability self-insurance fund, or with that fund. That agreement is in your packet. And the contract, it is a participation agreement, and a contract and participant agreement is entered into between the Association of County Commissioners of Alabama, the Liability Self-Insurance Fund, and Jackson County for the purpose of providing liability and/or property coverage described by the fund's liability coverage. The participation agreement is there. It is an agreement that, if you look on page 2 of the agreement, the term of the contract is period beginning the 1st of January 2024 and ending the 1st of January 2027, a 3-year agreement. And future contributions and premiums are calculated for each participant, that being us, the county, on its individual experience rating when earned in accordance with the provision of the experience rating plan. The Corporation of Risk Management recommendation, the participant agrees that it will cooperate in instituting any and all reasonable safety regulations. It does require that we, the participant, agree to appoint a liability coordinator, and the fund and this organization then supports us and agrees to handle any and all covered claims after notice has been given and to provide a defense of claims. So with that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the agreement for the ACCA Liability Self-Insurance Fund participation? Let me ask if there is any discussion or question. If none, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Another annual agreement that we enter into is with Avenue Insights and Analytics. It is the Tax Revenue Enhancement Agreement and Gas Tax Revenue Administration. Avenue will perform remittance processing for gas taxes as defined. And bottom line here is they are our tax collecting organization that assists the county in those responsibilities. So the packet is, or the agreement is in your packet. And this is an annual agreement that we sign. And I take that back. The agreement is for a term of 3 years, and we do assign this. We have had continuous relationship with Avenue for quite a few years. So with that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the agreement with Avenue Insights to continue collection of county sales, lodging, rental, and gasoline taxes?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Another hiring recommendation is from Mr. Chad Coleman, Director of Jackson County Council of Aging. As you know, we have been working for a good while to hire a new manager for our Paint Rock Senior Center. We have had a hiring committee today that has made this recommendation, and so we put it on the agenda. So there's a letter in your file or the packet. The hiring committee would like to recommend filling the open Paint Rock Senior Center manager position at a grade 2, step 1 level. Do I have a motion to approve the hiring committee's recommendation for the vacant Paint Rock Senior Center manager position for Council of Aging?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
I'll second that.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thanks. With that, we'll move into the work session. The first item for discussion is, would like to ask let me first say, we do have in your packet the post-retirement employment contract. It is between the Jackson County Commission and Ms. Donna Frederick. And so would like to ask our probate judge if he would please come forward and offer some comments. Mr. Manning. Mr. Manning.
All right, so you just approved the hire for the elections coordinator accountant. That's what Donna did. We do have an employee who's been working on that, been training on that for a couple of years, but that's a pretty broad job. So also incidentally today we got another letter of resignation. So we're going to be hiring 2 new folks. So it would be very important for us to keep Donna at a PRN post-retirement. You know, we're not trying to get her 40 hours a week. I don't think she desires that, but we certainly want her to be available. City's fixing to have a tax election for their school tax. I don't have to tell at least 2 of you we've got an election next year, and you know, that's going to be an early primary with the presidential election. So there's a lot to go with that, and I'd like to keep her around for a while to work with our new elections coordinator.
Okay,
You have any questions for me?
any questions?
Glad she wants to stay.
I am too. She's got a lot of experience, and she's a really sweet lady. I don't need to tell you guys that, but she's got a lot of valuable experience, and she's a big asset to our office.
Okay. Let me ask, is it okay if we put this on the new business agenda for our next meeting?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
So
That'll be
we have
fine.
plenty of time to
I think
do
her. I think her date to retire is actually like 1st of March. I believe it's what we did. So we tried to get this to you guys early enough so it would run, so that we weren't anticipating the resignation that we got. But it'd be great so that if we needed her to step in and work a couple of days, because we're going to get a process in place in those 2.
So we'll put this on our new business agenda for our next meeting.
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys.
Next on the agenda of our work session is an update of where we are on our courthouse HVAC upgrade system. Just before I ask Mr. Kevin Bond of JMRH to come forward and present the results of our bid opening. We have been in the process now for several months of working with JMRH on this. We went through a process of having numerous meetings to finalize an architectural approach to this, and a design package and a bid package. And the bid package was put on the street. We had two bidders, and so with that, let me ask Mr. Vaughn if he would please present the results of that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you very much, Commission. On behalf of the Jackson County Commission, we accepted bids last Thursday, February 9th at 2 p.m. here at the courthouse for the Jackson County Courthouse HVAC upgrades project. And as a result of that bid opening, Modern Heating and Cooling of Gadsden, Alabama was the apparent low responsible and responsive bidder. And their base bid in the amount of $1,995,645. And I am here to recommend that according to, and as defined by the Public Works Law 39-2-6, responsive bidder is one who submits a bid that complies with the terms and conditions of the invitation to bids, which they did, and a responsible bidder is one who, among other qualities determined necessary for performance, is competent, experienced, and financially able to perform the contract, in which we have done due diligence on behalf of the commission, and they are that. So by meeting those guidelines and requirements of the Public Works Law, we recommend, as the architect of record, the County Commission to award the project to Modern Heating and Cooling of Gastown, Alabama, and authorize us to proceed with contract negotiations and pre-award comments.
Okay, if I could get you to, I know there were a couple of, there was a base bid and there was some alternatives that we looked at, what I would call options. Could
Yes.
you please explain those?
I sure can. Base bid was for the purely mechanical system upgrades, and that's what the two bidders bid on the base bid item, which includes mechanical system upgrades that meet the current CDC and ASHRAE guidelines, and to meet the requirements of the use of the ARPA funds that were allocated to the county. So that base bid is strictly those items for the upgrades, along with the air quality improvements that are part of those upgrades, with bipolar ionization and the UVC lighting emitters within the system that will scrub the air, clean the virus and germicide before it comes out of the vents. We also, upon direction by the chairman, added some alternates in there for lighting upgrades to high-density areas within the existing courthouse, which would be the grand jury room on the first level. On the second level, the courtroom number 1 and the juror room. Then alternate 3 was for the second floor courtroom number 2 and the juror room. And then finally, alternate number 4 was for UVC lighting in second floor courtroom number 3 and that associated juror room. And what that entails is the existing ceiling mounted light fixtures would be replaced with an LED fixture that has an integrated UVC emitter in that. And we've talked about with the commission, it's kind of the belt and suspenders approach. The HVAC system is your belt. Provides all the guidelines and requirements and meets all those according to what they require for the use of the ARPA funds. And then the lighting upgrade would take it a step above, where you have increased germicidal and virus mitigation capabilities on surfaces of your skin for those high density, highly populated areas in the courtrooms and the juror rooms. So we took alternates on that. Those alternates for the first alternate was $29,435, and that's in addition to the base bid. Alternate number 2 would be an additional $66,304, and alternate number 3 would be an additional $54,713, and then alternate number 4 would be $31,000. So they would stack on top of the base bid, which brings the total base bid and all alternates to $2,177,097.
Okay. Just a comment I will make that we really started recognizing the need for an upgrade to our HVAC system, not so much because of what CDC says, but because this system that we have in here is very old. Yes, ma'am. Is very old. And so our maintenance crew is constantly in the process of having to do what I'll call again belt and suspenders to keep this HVAC system working. And there are days when we have courtrooms that have no air conditioning in the summer and honestly no heat in the winter. And while we're executing court, and that's just the nature of the age and the condition of this HVAC system. So we're looking for a system that takes care of all of that. It's a new system, latest technology, and certainly brings in the technology to protect us in crowded areas with the pathogens that are in the air and those things. So let me open up for any questions or comments.
Just looking at the side-by-side between the two original bids, and I know that we selected the low bid. Is apples to apples on the addendums of the alternatives. Well, the other was much lower in each instance
Was there different materials, or what's the?
No, they bid the same bid package, which includes the same, we did a complete set of construction documents, a complete set of a project manual with a complete set of HVAC equipment and lighting specifications. So they're bidding the identical, same scope of work, same requirements. That is, the difference you see is purely a bid day difference between one prime mechanical contractor versus another prime mechanical contractor.
Okay, any other question, comment? Now, you need a couple of weeks at least
Yes,
to
sir.
put a contract package together. I would ask that when you do that, you put it together so that we can make a choice of, do we take the base capability alone, or the base with the options. So we have two options there to work. Can we do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, I will, for our discussions, provide you guys some data to look at on the benefits of the UVC lighting, and so that you can look at what the cost of that is versus what the benefits physically and scientifically are, so you can kind of weigh the options on the lighting upgrades as well.
Okay. And if there are any benefits with that of upgrading the old electrical,
That's correct.
we need to consider that as well.
Yes, sir, and there is, the lighting, when you look at the alternate numbers and the cost of those alternates per courtroom and jury room area, the reason they are as substantial as they are is because anytime you go into an existing building where you have existing light fixtures and you put a new modern efficiency light fixture in, it affects how they have to wire the fixtures within that area. And so you fall into the new energy codes and the new electrical codes. So there is some upgrade work with the wiring confined in those individual areas, not the whole courthouse, but in those individual areas that's required by the code officials.
Okay.
So we'll lay all that out and let you know,
Okay.
give you the explanation.
Mr. Porter, let me ask, do we need to vote to allow them to put together a contract, or wait until we get a contract recommendation brought before the
You can wait till
commission?
you get the contract together.
Okay. So with that, everybody okay with the recommendation to proceed with contract, to bring that contract forward to us?
We're ready to go.
We'll put it on the agenda for the new business for the next meeting. Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you,
very
sir.
much.
Next on the agenda is with our courthouse communications and IT area. And so I'd like our director of IT to please come forward. And
So we're back with the same thing we voted on the last time. I think the last time we met, we discussed that we were able to go to the Alabama state bid list, get a quote on that same stuff. It came back within $7 than what was bid, what we received in the bid. So it's the same quote. Basically, it's just, so we've gotten the thumbs up and a resolution from IEC, who says we're good to go this time.
it's for this exact same,
Exact same stuff.
excuse me for smiling, but we've been
Yeah.
down this road for a
Yep.
year about 4 times and trying to get to this point. So go ahead. Any questions?
Is this something we need to do, set aside the rules, Warren, go ahead and take care of that?
We do.
Okay. All right, so I've tried to write this down properly this time with a motion.
Let AJ do it.
If I could. All right, so at this time, it's going to be lengthy, excuse me.
So we need to set aside the road.
Just
It's just written down.
I put all this time into this. So, do I have a motion to set aside the rules? Excuse me.
Just making sure we didn't get too far down that trail.
Let me get my glasses. Set aside the rules to approve a motion to approve the resolution for expenditure of ARPA funds for government services.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the resolution for expenditure of ARPA funds for government services and award of contract to Converge One in the amount of $292,853 for the purchase of communications and networking infrastructure goods and services?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion, I have a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. No lights. Okay.
You sure, Rob?
Huh?
You sure? You're
You're the commissioner. I'll take my glasses off now. All right, next, we have several items in your packet regarding upcoming board nominations. Between now and the end of March, we will be appointing membership to 3 separate boards. By 1 March, we will need to appoint a member for the Cumberland Mountain Water and Fire Protection Authority. We have 1 individual whose term is expiring. By the end of March, we have 2 boards that we will need to appoint new membership to or membership to. One is the Marshall-Jackson 310 Agency Board. There are 4 members of Jackson County that participate in this joint board with Marshall County, and their terms are expiring. And we have 3 members whose terms are expiring with the DeKalb-Jackson Water Authority, and we'll be appointing members to that. There is in your packet, the first sheet under is information regarding Cumberland Mountain Water and Fire Protection Board. The name of the individual whose terms is expiring, qualifications that for that, and a real reminder on water boards, the prime qualification is they must live in the service area for that authority. Same with DeKalb-Jackson, we do have the names of the individuals whose terms are expiring, and then same with Marshall-Jackson 310 Agency. And then you have a sheet on each of the board. It shows all of the members of the boards and which members are expiring. And so that is in your packet for information. We will have a vote for the Cumberland Water Authority at the next meeting. We plan to close the application on the 20th for that board, and we will get you the names of the individuals who are requesting consideration immediately so that you have a chance to review those before the board. And then we'll get information on the boards to you as well. So this is just here for your information to consider.
I do have one question on that, particularly this Marshall-Jackson 310 Agency. Are all the board members in both counties up for renewal at one time? Is that?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I will confirm that and have it for the next meeting.
I was just wondering if it would be to our advantage to stagger.
Yeah.
But we may not have the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's something that we need to check, because we've run into this with our DeKalb-Jackson Water Authority Board that we're appointing to. I will say that in 2019, the commission appointed 2 members that are considered up for reappointment here because terms are expiring, and they were appointed for 6-year terms. However, that is not in compliance with state statute or the articles of incorporation, nor the bylaws of the board. We're only allowed to appoint for 4 years, so as a result, we're going to have to reappoint these members or consider their terms expiring and appoint. They have all submitted thus far letters of for consideration for reappointment. But anyhow, I go there because I think each of these boards are set up with some articles of incorporation. We'll need to check to see if we can, if we can possibly consider staggering those. That's a good recommendation.
All right, and is this? Now you said the
DeKalb Jackson Water Authority boards were approved by us for 6 years.
Yes,
So do we need to amend our appointments?
we would need to consider them up for, yes, that's what we, go ahead,
You
John.
know, you don't need to amend that appointment, it's just, it was for 6 years, but it could only be for 4 years. So they are up on the 2023.
Okay.
So you just need to reappoint.
And so has the board been notified that?
Yeah, I've talked to, in
Okay.
fact, we have a letter from the president of the authority there advising us of that. I have talked to her regarding that, and
I still want to surprise, here's guys coming off or being reappointed for 4 years without notification.
well, they are aware, and as I said, they have each they've submitted their letters for consideration to be reappointed now. It's a good recommendation, and I will reach out and talk to them individually, the two that are in that situation. Okay? Any other questions, comments?
Do we have any other current applicants for these positions?
Well, remember that our process is we put this out in public notice and to reach out across the county for anyone who would like to be considered. We do have for for the DeKalb Jackson Water Authority, we have thus far received, in addition to the 3 whose terms are expiring, we have 2 other applicants who would like to be considered. And we have a couple more weeks before we close that application for DeKalb Jackson.
So when that's closed, then we'll receive everyone's, all of
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. That's when we will get a packet of everyone who's requesting consideration to each of the commissioners.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the work session is amendment, discussion to amend a resolution for EDA, Economic Adjustment Assistance. This was a grant that we applied for a little over a year ago. It is through TARCOG. It is a grant to establish what they're calling it, it's really a strategic plan for Jackson County that they have recommended that we apply for. As I understand from TARCOG, DECA has reached out to them and suggested we reapply. We had put this packet together last year. We had approved it last year. The recommendation is that we this year apply for a $150,000 grant versus a $200,000 grant. In last year, the total value of the packet would have been $250,000, with $50,000 being our share of the project. DECA has recommended $200,000, with $50,000 being our share of this. So this is here for your consideration, and we will bring it to a vote in our next meeting. Again, it is for a strategic plan for Jackson County. In the previous application, which is the application package that will go forward, it was endorsed by the mayors, the legislative delegation, and other members of our community to support that. So that's here for information and your consideration, and we'll have discussion. I've asked TARCOG to be here at our next meeting to discuss this in detail for questions. Any other comment regarding that item? If not, that concludes our items in our work session. So at this time, I'd like to have reports from our staff. First, our county administrator.
No, sir.
Nothing. County engineer, any comments?
I do have some updates. I can provide it this time or later. Would you like me to provide
Yeah,
updates?
please.
Thank you, Chairman. Gentlemen, the chairman had asked that I look at some updates and provide those for you on projects that are ongoing. And then
I'll get into grant things too, if I may. So as far as ongoing projects that are Rebuild Alabama and otherwise, County Road 74, that patching started today. So that was the state funded grant we're partnering with on that. County Road 67, that patching completed last week, and we are calling that 40% complete. So those materials are stockpiled and ready for the next phase of construction on it. And that will be a scrub seal, and then it'll get the pavement preservation treatment, strip and markers. County Road 8 is 40% complete. So it still likes that same process that I talk about on 74 and 67. It'll be a scrub seal, pavement preservation on the mountainside, overlay in the valley portions, and then striping and markers are still will be required on that. And County Road 33 is 95% complete, with striping and markers being the only remaining items there. You most likely receive notifications for road closures. This week is County Road 156. Next week is County Road 366. Both of those closures will be due to cross drain replacements, and this is work ahead of local road resurfacing projects that are planned. I have some updates for 93 and 38 for the slope failures. I'm going to save that toward the end because it's I could probably best read verbatim from the program manager's things, and there's several emails there. This week, ATIB application, Chairman asked me to speak to that. We had a conference call on 1/31/23 with Louie and Alex with Thornton and Parrish. Those are the gentlemen that presented the literature for your consideration on the bond, Rebuild Alabama bond. The following week, we sent an application which was under their guidance for the narrative portion of that application, and we learned basically the next day that we would have to get into project-specific details. So we'll head in any direction we see you guys see appropriate on that, but due to the request from ALDOT, we will have to essentially select projects so we can have accurate project cost along with the maps, photos, etc., so that they can see what, our specific plans on how we would allocate those funds if received. A-Trip 2, Alabama, Rebuild Alabama grant, the County Road 19 selection, just as a reminder, that was the chosen project. I want to compliment Misty on for all the work that she has done, and that application process and packet went out last week. Worked by you guys on the letters of recommendation and also our legislative delegation. So that was the most robust, complete package that we've ever submitted for Rebuild Alabama grant. So I appreciate all the hard work, and we'll have our fingers crossed on that. SS4A grant. So this is Safe Streets for All. This is a federal program. We first learned of this when the IIJA and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law bill was announced, and it was quickly apparent that every application and allocation of funds within that $5 billion would all be discretionary, essentially. And it was also very apparent that the first priority in the discretionary funding allocations would all revolve around safety as one of the first and foremost criteria mentioned. So we first participated years back in 2020 for a road safety review with ALDOT and a consultant. It was narrowed down based on crash data to 2 routes, County Road 21 and 67. The end result in that was a road safety review report, which we leveraged for a couple of grants, fairly small in nature. You guys may remember 21. Some of you may remember work we did on 21, signage, striping, etc. On 9/20, a local road safety plan, phase 2, we committed to that with ALDOT and our association, the Association of County Engineers. And we were one of 10 counties that were essentially in queue and waiting on funding to pick up from where the other left off. That essentially fizzled. We learned later that it was basically too expensive for ALDOT, and they're waiting on a federal funding source to complement that and pick back up on that first round. So of 5 of 22 this past May, then that's when the announcement came for the Safe Streets for All program with funding opportunities for a comprehensive safety plan. Discussions with ALDOT from our office occurred on September of 22 with Jackson County specifics, and reaching back out from that first round we had done was for some guidance. the guidance essentially on how we could frame up the cost for this comprehensive plan and who we could look at for someone that's been successful or someone to help us with that. They helped Garen mostly. So, you know, we got this information to him and he took the ball and ran with it. That conversation in September helped him with the application that occurred in September also. And then January 31st, we were notified that we were selected for award for the Safe Streets for All grant. So all glory to Garen. So out of 510 communities nationwide and about 8 statewide, City of Dothan, City of Foley, City of Northport, City of Talladega, Regional Planning Commission of Greater Birmingham, City of Enterprise, top of Alabama Regional Council of Governments, TARCOG, was named in that. So out of that list, Jackson County Department of Public Works, you can tell which one don't belong. So I just want to recognize all of his hard work on that. He chased rabbits and dug back through old conversations and wrote narratives himself and filled that out. So it's about a $100,000 grant, but what we're excited about is it builds the comprehensive plan. And once we have some buy-in on this first step, then we feel certain that it will give us some leverage going forward with other discretionary grants, that if we're following the process, that hopefully we'll see some consensual awards later.
If I could comment in discussion with TARCOG, it also gives us leverage in going after grants, as you say, from the infrastructure bill to get money for roads. Also, the TARCOG grant was for $400,000. That is to cover the same kind of look from a safety standpoint across their whole region of coverage, which would include Jackson County. And so they're wanting to have a discussion of how they sort of support or add to what we would be able to do with this grant that we have in Public Works. And so I think that's good news for us that we could get additional money for that.
So I can move on to 93 and 38, but I wanted to share with you, we're well beyond the time frame allotted in that proposal that was submitted and we approved. The drilling work, the geotechnical work, all that is substantially complete. But as just a reminder from the last update, they had to revisit the site with surveying. So it was during the senior review process that it was identified by senior personnel, engineering personnel, that they had a discrepancy in what was seen in the field and what was involved in their report. So the chairman asked me to delve into the reporting on this, but it is lengthy. I can go into that now, or if you'd like to save that for later.
I guess my question, Jonathan, is do you have a time frame from them of when they will be in a position to bring their reports to the commission?
I can tell you what I've been told.
Okay.
Surveying has completed, so the follow-up surveying is completed. The cross-sections and survey data will be updated no later than the 20th of February. Review and update modeling will begin the 20th, and they should have that quickly turned around. He's committed to update me further on the 20th, but he would like to think that this would be wrapped up by 3/3/2023. So, I've got updates all the way back to August, and I feel like I can lay that out clearly on where they've been. And I'm not here to defend them, but I can relay the information. So, if you would like more information or me to delve in, then please reach out, or I can do that now.
No, I mean, as long as progress has been made. Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
That's
anything
it.
else? Thanks very
Thank you,
much.
gentlemen.
Thanks for all the updates there. Let me ask County Attorney, any comment? Okay. Any other comments from any of our directors? Okay. With that, let me go to comments from the Commission. District 4 Commissioner, Mr. Kevin McBride.
Certainly good to see the crowd out tonight. Good to see Mr. Jeffcoat, I'm glad you came. Just
continue to get back with us. We certainly don't want to invade on your privacy, and we'll do what we can to make sure it's suitable for the community and you as well.
Thank you.
Okay, District 3 Commissioner Buckner.
I don't have anything to add tonight. Glad to be here.
District 2 Commissioner Kinnaman.
Glad to serve. We have 5 high schools in our county, all of them in our county, including Scottsboro. North Sand Mountain, Pisgah, Woodville, and Skyline, all still fighting in the basketball domain, so we wish them well.
District 1 Commissioner Gully.
It's good to see everybody come out, bringing their issues to us tonight about their problems. I'm glad to see that we're getting some community, public involvement, so thank you all for being here.
So my comment is I agree, and it is really good to see that our citizens believe they can bring comments and issues to the commission. And we encourage those that have them to please come and talk to us. That just informs us. We will appreciate it. Our next commission meeting is on February the 27th, 2023. At this time, I'd like for us to go into an executive session. As I said before, this is to discuss good name and character of an individual and to discuss matters of purchase or sale, lease of property. So do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. So at this time,